I've even had the FBI call me up and say, hey, you have credible death threats. To which I responded with, what do we do then? To which they responded with, it's all good. I don't know. We just wanted to let you know. Instead of addressing the problems, those in positions of power are either too predisposed with finger wagging at those who don't feel like Brian Thompson was a victim because they feel like they themselves are victims of for-profit healthcare. And also on top of that, now they're looking at your posts. They're looking at your anger. And they're moving to apprehend those to make a point. They're moving to apprehend those who say something in anger to make a point. If you're angry, you still have to shut the f up. You can't say a single damn thing. And that brings me to this story in the state of Florida, where another person who is not a card-carrying communist, but a simple mother and a wife, Briana Boston, 42-year-old mother of three, was arrested for making threats to Blue Cross Blue Shield over a rejected medical claim. The threats were on a phone call with an insurance rate adjuster or a phone call with someone who was telling them why the claims that should be covered because she paid for it were denied. She allegedly quoted Mangione saying, delay, deny, depose, you people are next. Now she's facing up to 15 years in prison. The woman told investigators that healthcare companies played games and deserve karma from the world because they are evil. Her bail was set for $100,000. She was charged with threats to conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism. They're calling her a copycat. She was not a copycat at all. She does not even own a gun.
The nature of the threats, we would also be asking for GPS with house arrest conditions to protect the community.
With her head in her hands, Briana Boston learned she would be held in jail on $100,000 bond. The Polk County judge adding the bond was appropriate given the, quote, status of our country.
It's not like she's a child. She's 42 years old, so we're not dealing with a child here. She should certainly know better.
Lakeland police.
Like, look at this. You know better. Yeah. Normally, this is a great point. Normally, our system is so broken. Our system is so broken. And yet, it works in unison and it works perfectly when it comes down to protecting capital owners and their interests, protecting the interests of the wealthy and corporations. We've moved on from corporations are people to corporations are the only people. You yourself are not a person. Only corporations are persons. That's where we're at in American society. One of the most insane things I have seen in the American news cycle is this level of punishment for someone expressing their anger. I tweeted, I said, in America, if you get mad at a corporation for not giving you what you paid for, they put you in prison. Because remember, she paid for this. She paid for her insurance. And then the insurance was like, yeah, we're not going to pay for your claims. Sorry. Now, what's really interesting about this is that I am a recipient of death threats. Okay? Credible death threats. Thousands of them on a monthly basis. From the random comments online all the way to direct death threats. Okay? And I'll reveal something that I haven't before. I've even had the FBI call me up and say, hey, you have credible death threats. To which I responded with, what do we do then? To which they responded with, it's all good. I don't know. We just wanted to let you know. Okay? And it's like, at that point, it's like, should I even, like, I'm better off not knowing then. What the f? Thanks for letting me know, I guess. Now, what's interesting about this isn't that I, as a content creator, have received a of very credible death threats. Luckily, none of them have materialized. I am not that unique in this process. Okay? I'm not that unique at all. Virtually every other content creator has experienced this, but I'll take it one step further. There are a lot of normal people who aren't under a microscope that get stalked viciously. They receive death threats too. Victims of domestic abuse, victims in a broken house, broken household, victims that go to law enforcement and say, hey, these guys are threatening me. This person I know is threatening me. So many women. This person I know is stalking me. And in every single circumstance, cops just go, nothing we can do about it. But lo and behold, you have a situation where a corporation feels threatened, and all of a sudden, we have to dish out punishments instantly to a mother of 3 who does not own a gun. How does this not make your blood boil? You think she is a card-carrying commie? You think she's an anarchist? If she was in a circumstance where she was being stalked as a normal-ass 42-year-old lady in the state of Florida, okay, and she went to the cops and was like, I'm being stalked by this person, they would tell you, file a protective order, and that's it. I just want to let you know, it's not like this, special bubble that protects you. It just means that the court files it. So therefore, if something happens, we know who was most likely responsible for it. Cops have told me in the past to buy a gun, literally. So just understand that. And now, this person, her life is ruined. It is crazy how apparent the contradictions are. It is crazy how obvious it is that the sole responsibility of the police is not to protect and serve the interests of the citizenry, but it is to protect and serve the interests of for-profit corporations. There is no clearer indication of that reality than this right here, this story.
Police Chief Sam Taylor says his department was contacted by the FBI Tuesday. Authorities say in a recorded phone call about a denied insurance claim, Boston told a Blue Cross Blue Shield employee, quote, delay, deny, depose. You people are next, end quote. The language matches the words police say were written on the shell casings found at the United Healthcare CEO's murder scene in New York City.
We will take this very seriously, and we will put you in jail if you do something like this. It is not a joke.
According to Boston's affidavit, the mother of 3 told police she did not own firearms and was not a danger to anyone.
Yeah, also the fact that the media is deliberately calling the story an alleged threat to Blue Shield is insane. An alleged threat to Blue Cross Blue Shield. They didn't just destroy her life, they destroyed her family, her whole family's life, yes. The arrest of a frustrated middle-class mom is a real shot across the bow from the ruling class. Ryan Grimm says, also, this mom never said she herself was going to attack an insurance executive. She said that if they continue treating people like this, somebody will, which is just her prediction, not a threat. It's similar to what Warren said, that you can only beat people down for so long. It's not a threat, it's just a fact. It is crazy. $100,000 for her bond because the judge said in this time and place, this is far too credible of a threat.
But she added, healthcare companies played games and deserved karma because they are evil. To the accused shooter in Manhattan, Boston is getting support online from people who say that she was just sharing her opinion and should be protected by the First Amendment, but police do not see it that way. She's facing a second-degree felony of written threat to kill or injure, conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism, a serious charge that she could end up in prison for 15 years. Reporting live in Lakeland, I'm...
What the are we doing, man? What the are we doing? Innocent mother of 3, Briana Boston, has been released. No crimes, no weapons, no threat. Kind bail bond senders, thank you. Ignore all GoFundMe links unless confirmed. Yeah, but yeah, so she has been released. She was released today. Anyway, she had to be, so she's okay? She's not going to jail? No, she still is going to have a trial. She's still going to have a trial. She just doesn't have to wait it out in prison, in jail, until her trial date. She's just out on bond. This will forever be on her record, though. $100,000 bond, dude. This is what the judge said. Based on Boston statements, investigators said they believe she meant to threaten the insurance company by using the United Healthcare CEO's homicide to her advantage. Boston was charged with threats to conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism. My client is 42, married, mother of 3, never had any criminal charges or convictions. May you release her on her own recognizance, her attorney Jim Headley said to a judge during her first appearance in court. However, the judge set her bond at $100,000, stating, I do find that the bond of $100,000 is appropriate, considering the status of our country at this point.
This evening, a Lakeland woman is behind bars accused of making threats to an insurance company over the phone. The FBI says 42-year-old Briana Boston used the phrase delay, deny, and depose in an outburst while speaking with a Blue Cross Blue Shield agent.
Yeah, this is similar to the phrase police found on evidence.
Luigi Mangione, copycat, arrested over insurance threat. Dude, the media machine is firing on all cylinders. To those who may not be tuned in to my broadcasts with regular frequency, to those who normally see me as a threat, to those who don't normally agree with me, okay? Listen to my words. If you see your favorite right-wing content creator basically channeling this exact same attitude that the mainstream media is firing off on all cylinders to normalize the violence that you experience on a daily basis from for-profit insurance companies, to tell you that it's wrong that you feel angry and resentful and spiteful towards those in positions of power that have over your lives. Remember where their bread is being buttered. They are doing the exact same thing that CNN is doing, that Newsweek is doing, that the New York Times is doing. This is my message to all the Ben Shapiro fans. If you find it strange that Ben Shapiro has sided with the insurance CEOs and is actively trying to tell you, like, oh, you shouldn't be angry and resentful, they do not care about you. They care about defending the system, and that system is you over. Okay? Yeah, Michaela Oakland says, I've gotten so many death threats on this website and even went to the police about particularly serious ones years ago, and they said there was nothing they could do about threats. Are threats only illegal if they're directed at corporations? Yeah. Only when it's a threat directed at a corporation is it actionable. Jessica Burbank, the Boston police literally read the threats I got where they specifically said in an email they will find me in person. They collected evidence after my apartment was broken into and said, we have no way of knowing it was the same guy. But I'm not a CEO, so they don't give a Yep.
At the scene of the insurance CEO's murder in Tampa Bay, Zaduria Chumba live with us in studio this evening. Tell us what we've learned so far.
So those words found last week on the bullet casing in Brian Thompson's murder, and they're considered very serious. Now, tonight, Briana Boston is learning a hard lesson after investigators say she used those very exact words during a phone call. Now, according to an affidavit from Lake...
Yeah, she learned a lesson, all right. It is that the police will only protect corporations. They have no care or consideration for average people who have been f***ed over. Even if they themselves have, at a certain point, been victim to the same structures that have harmed them as well, or their immediate family members. Because it's not like cops are not getting f***ed over by insurance. Of course they are. Every single person is. Even rich people are. And yeah, delayed, denied, deposed is a criminal threat if a civilian says it to a corporation, but if a corporation uses it as an actual policy that kills people, then it's fine. Yep. The lesson is things that you think exist in American society, like freedom of speech, for example, they are completely and utterly inconsequential if you actually are doing it at a time when people feel unsafe, when CEOs feel unsafe. These are the magical, mystical people that only they get to be secured and protected.
Lakeland police. Boston made the threats on December 10 after being denied medical insurance claims. Now, the document quotes Boston as saying, delay, deny, depose. You people are next, to an agent on the phone just before the call ended. Now, Blue Cross and Blue Shield was alerted, or rather alerted the FBI. They in turn contacted Lakeland police, and Boston was subsequently arrested. She now faces charges of written threats to conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism. Now, in court today, the state requested elevated bond and very strict pretrial release conditions. Boston's attorney said the words from the mom of 3 with no prior convictions should not be taken seriously as she doesn't own or have access to firearms, but the judge was not lenient.
There is probable cause for the charge. The charge is written threat to kill or injure, conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism. That's a second-degree felony, punished by 15 years in Florida State Prison. I do find that the bond of $100,000 is appropriate considering the status of our country at this point.
This is crazy because this literally is like North Korea shit, or at least like how Americans imagine North Korea is like. But when it's happening to us, we still have this like weird sense of American exceptionalism that kicks in where you're like, nah, this is it. What the do you think is going on?
While Boston may not have access to weapons, there are concerns about online rhetoric and copycats targeting other healthcare CEOs and business leaders. Now, here's what NYPD's Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism said about the issue, and it's a sentiment shared by law enforcement leaders.
There are also posters that we've seen.
Yeah, no, they are doing this to make an example out of her so that you hear that and you shut the up next time you're angry. Okay? That's it. That's literally the only reason that she got clapped here, okay? That's it. They're using her to make an example out of her. Die quietly. That's what they want you to do.
Online and in New York with various CEOs' pictures on them. These are perceived threats, and it is important for everybody to know that we will take these threats very seriously.
Under Florida law, penalties for making such threats can land you in prison for 15 years if convicted. For now, the judge says if Boston meets her bond, she'll remain on restricted house arrest with an ankle monitor. She also must have no contact with any Blue Cross Blue Shield staff, whether in person or electronically. In studio, Aduria Chumba, 10 Tampa Bay.
Great. That's great. Thank you. Like, you literally cannot say, this is the reason why people are angry at you. This is the reason why what happened with Luigi Mangione happened. What happened to Brian Thompson happened. You can't say that. That's a threat. We'll punish you. That's punishable by law. Meanwhile, what is the governor of New York doing? Kathy Hochul is holding a therapy session with 175 corporate reps, CEOs, to calm the nerves of the New York City business elite in the wake of Brian Thompson's killing, promising state assistance to corporate security to combat domestic terrorism. Demonization of corporate executives is not new, said Kathy Wild, CEO and president of Partnership for New York, who's leading the outreach for the meeting. State Director of Operations Catherine Garcia is managing the effort, and Kathy Wild, the CEO and president of the Partnerships for New York City, has been the business world's point person. In an interview Thursday with MSNBC's Morning Joe, Hochul said the meeting will be proactive. State officials plan to show how they can provide law enforcement intelligence in case a specific sector is being targeted. We protect everybody on the streets of New York, not just CEOs, Hochul said. Everybody deserves the protection of our law enforcement. Are they holding counsel like this for every single person that's been denied their insurance claims? I guess you can't really do that because then you would have to do it for like at least 5 million people, you know? What a crock of shit. I mean, it's yet another perfect representation. They only care about CEOs, man. They don't care about you. As a wake-up call. I hope many more people have seen this past week as a wake-up call for who our systems are designed to protect. And angry. Don't tweet that. Holy shit. Wait, what? I didn't say anything. Has HasanAbi gone woke? Yeah. Remember, I told you, like, it's going to be, the only thing that comes out of it is just like extra unnecessary prosecution for people who have, you know, seemingly threatened corporate CEOs or whatever. No real changes. Additional prosecution for, you know, mothers of 3 or whatever. Don't tweet that, they'll arrest you. Okay, good luck. Video about police priorities.
For any woman that has attempted to report threats from a man and was told there was nothing that the police could do about it, I want you to fiercely remember Briana Boston and know not only is there something they can do about it, they will do it. Just not for you.